Hey guys, it's Chris here. I wanted to make this video because we're getting towards Q4. Right now it's the end of July. Within a few months, we're going to be hot and heavy in the biggest toy selling season of the year. Now, I sell toys year round, but the biggest time, of course, is definitely Q4, which really starts right around Thanksgiving into Christmas. You're not going to be able to keep toys in stock. And one of the important things about this time is being able to sell as many brands of toys as possible. So what I did here was I put together a video showing you some tips and tricks and some explanation about getting ungated in toys, some real talk about it because there's a lot of misconceptions about getting ungated in toy brands. And then I'm actually going to show you guys live how to do it, show you how to know whether or not you can get auto ungated, and then also show you just some general tips and tricks to save you money in the process, including showing you some real invoices that were used pretty recently to get ungated. So without further ado, here we go. How to get ungated in toy brands. So the very first thing is we need to talk about kind of a little myth that's out there about this. And the myth is that you cannot get ungated in toys with a retail receipt. This is flat out a lie. It's not true. Okay, you absolutely 110% can get ungated in toys with a retail receipt, but there's, like all good lies, there's a little grain of truth. The problem is that does not work on all brands. Okay, in fact, a lot of brands you can't do it with. But I was recently, not too recently, about a year ago, ungated for LOL balls and fingerlings, which is Spin Master, using retail receipts from Walmart. Okay, so it definitely works. And I know some people that were more recently ungated using retail receipts from Walmart. You have to properly annotate the receipt. That's all you got to do. Okay. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So the other thing that I think is really important, and I don't see people talk about this, is you need to make sure that you have a real business before you start trying to get ungated and stuff like toys. Okay. Whether you're a sole prop or an LLC or an S corp, whatever, it doesn't matter. You need to be a business in the state that you're in. It's very important also just for tax. Okay, because if you have your sales tax permit, you don't have to pay sales tax at places like Walmart, which, I mean, 7% in Pennsylvania, that adds up very quickly. Depending on what state you're in, it could be more or less. So it's very important, and it will help you with getting ungated in toys and just dealing with distributors in general. Another big thing that not a lot of people talk about is you better get liability insurance. If you don't have liability insurance, you're an idiot. Okay. Number one, it's a requirement on Amazon. Okay. We can argue this all day. Look in the terms of service under liability. It says you're required to have it. There you go. End of discussion. Okay. But keep something in mind about toys. Kids are really dumb. Okay. Kids are real dumb. Okay. And if some kid shoots his eye out with his Red Ryder BB gun and mommy and daddy want to sue somebody, they're going to sue Amazon. And guess what? They're going to sue you because you're the one that sold it. Okay. Now, I see all the time people say, oh, but I'm an LLC. That means I'm limited liability. It's in the name. No, you firstly have not set up your business correctly to have a corporate shield on your LLC that would prevent you from being sued by any lawyer that was halfway competent. I promise you that you don't have your business set up correctly for that. And just product liability insurance is so cheap, and it's a requirement anyway. Okay, 400 to 600 bucks a year for product liability insurance. That's 50 bucks a month. Okay, so just get it. Okay, Ashlyn Hayden, I recommend her. If you want, she does it for a lot of people. You go for a local person. I get mine through a local guy. I pay $800 a year for $2 million in coverage. Okay, one of my distributors requires $2 million in coverage, so I have a $2 million policy. 600 bucks a year, or 800 bucks a year for that. Okay, it'll be like 500 bucks a year for you guys to get the $1 million that Amazon requires. Get this before you start selling toys. Seriously. Okay. Now, here's what we need to get ungated in toys. Okay. And Amazon's actually pretty specific in this. I'm going to show you guys a screen of exactly what they want. Okay, guys. So what we want to do here to see if we can get auto ungated in a brand is we want to go to add a product. We go into Seller Central, inventory, add a product. Now, the only brand that I am gated in right now that I know of is Melissa and Doug. So we're going to search Melissa and Doug toys here. And we see here, we pulled up a bunch of Melissa and Doug. And see what my, okay, listing limitations. And it says I need approval to list this brand. So we're going to request approval. Now at this point, if I get auto ungated, I would click this and it would say, congratulations, you can sell this brand. But I'm not going to get that. Okay. Now, I will tell you right off the bat, I used Melissa and Doug. They are, the techniques that I'm going to show in this video will not work on Melissa and Doug. I have people that ask me all the time. They want me to help them get ungated in Melissa and Doug. I have not found anything that's worked to do that. So if you're trying to watch this to do Melissa and Doug, stop now. But what we want to do is we're going to give a purchase invoice here, and it tells us actually pretty much what we're going to need, okay? So we need this to be recent, good. We want my name and address, good. Name of the address and distributor, good. And show the combined purchase of at least 10 units. Now, I think that what you should do here is not just 10 units. When it comes on gating, I like to do a little bit more, and I typically do 3 units, 10 each. Okay, that's what I recommend to people that I've helped with getting on gating. It's worked very well. You can submit multiple invoices to Amazon, so your mileage may vary, but I've never been denied for brands like Funko, Star Wars, Disney, doing 3 items, 10 of each. That's 30 items total. That's kind of an older rule that a lot of people used to use. I don't know exactly if that still stands. I've heard of some people having some luck just using 10, but I'm trying to make this to be the best advice that will work the most times. So my advice is 3 items, 10 each. But this is actually pretty easy to do. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to use Entertainment Earth distribution. So this is Entertainment Earth, okay? Now, this doesn't look like very much. It looks like a regular place that you would just buy toys from, like a Toys R Us. But what they also have is Entertainment Earth distribution. This is very important. So the first thing that we want to do with Entertainment Earth is we need to log in and set up an account with them. It is very easy to do, and they will ask you for some information, provide them all the information. Takes about 15 minutes to set up. Pretty easy to do. Okay, and they also have pretty good customer service. I've had some issues with them before with like stuff getting damaged or stuff like that. They're pretty legit. But here's what we can do here. So let's look at these brands that they sell. So this is pretty big. Star Wars, Funko, Disney. That's huge. Hasbro, Marvel. We got Legos, that's huge. Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty, I think, is coming back in the fall. I might be wrong about that, so don't quote me on that. But that's a pretty big one. Bandai is pretty big. McFarlane Toys and Marvel. Well, the Marvel's over there. But the McFarlane Toys, that's like Spawn, all sorts of cool stuff. So the big ones that people talk about a lot is like Star Wars, or let me show you guys even Lego. So the strategy is pretty easy, okay? One of the concepts that's so important about getting ungated in toys is you can use one invoice to get ungated for multiple toys and multiple toy brands. So for instance, if I used Stigma Lock, what the hell's that? Okay, if I used this to get ungated, I could use this to get ungated in Lego and Jurassic Park, okay? I could use this here to get ungated. I think this is Duplo, Lego, and Duplo. Okay, these are a little expensive, but that's okay. I could get ungated, for instance, in Disney using the Duplo Disney My First Mickey build. Okay, these are very important things here because you can use this to save yourself a lot of money. So what I did here, this isn't my first take of this video. I'm going to show you guys the Duplo, the cheapest Duplo we can find. So we want to use their sorter here. We want to go to the cheapest. And what's important is we need to make sure that everything that we're going to purchase has a listing on Amazon already. That's very, very important. we also want to make sure that everything that we're going to buy is actually in toys. So like this paperback book here might look good because it's cheap, but it's in books. That's not good, okay? Because we're trying to get ungated in toys. Everything needs to be in toys. So what I did here, we're going to add this Duplo here to our cart. I already have it in the cart. Okay, and I added this ladybug to the cart. And then I just did a quick search here for Duplo. Okay, and we want to sort this cheapest to most expensive. And I added this Puzzle Pets. Okay. If you really wanted to get crazy, you know, they got a lot of stuff here at the $10 price point, but I think I was doing the Puzzle Pets. Yep, and this is what it looks like, guys. This would be a very good order to get ungated in Lego and Duplo. Now, Duplo's not as popular as Lego. It's like small Legos, but this would get you ungated in both, which is pretty good. But let's look here. Let's get ungated in Star Wars. Okay, so here, these are some that I recently looked at, but let's look here. Star Wars. Now, what's important is we actually could get ungated in Star Wars, Funko, and Disney all at once. Now, unfortunately, this is out of stock. Okay, this was the one that I had a couple of my clients purchase to do Funko, Disney, and Star Wars all at once. This and then some of these Pez dispensers. Okay, they're not available anymore. Okay, that particular one. But let's look here at this. Let's see if this, make sure that this is a toy for sale on Amazon. And boom goes the dynamite. Okay, so let's add these to the cart. Okay, now remember, you know, the pricing here is not very good. We're going to not make money on this. I'm buying these specifically to get ungated. So, you know, keep it cheap. Unless you want to like buy Legos and sit on them or something like that. Okay, so this happens to be in toys. Okay, sweet. Um, I looked through these already. A lot of these are in automotive. Um, we don't want to use these because they actually put that they're damaged stock. I think that this one should work. Okay. There we go. And that's a toy. So 10. Okay. Now, if they had those Funko Pop pins, I would have bought those instead and then tried to do something with like the Pez dispensers or something like that. Unfortunately, their inventory right now, I guess it's kind of towards the end of their season, and they don't have the best inventory out there. Let's see if the Bosk Pez dispenser is in, because I would love to show you guys how to do Funko also. Oh crap, there we go. Okay, so let's do that. So actually now we're almost all Funko. Let's see if we can pick another one that's Funko. Well, actually, there's Lando. And what category is this in? Toys and games. There we go. Okay, so we are pre-ordering this, which is fine. I mean, it should be out any day. But let's add it to the cart. And you can always like call them and talk to them. Like, I'm serious, they're really nice. Um, so now let's remove the chunky magnet and this doll, this thing here. So Now, $170. There's no sales tax from Entertainment Earth because you are a wholesale distributor. The shipping is very cheap, if not free, depending on, they have different offers sometimes on shipping, so it's very cheap. So let's say this is $170 to get ungated in Disney, Funko, and Star Wars. That's huge, guys. Okay, there's a lot of places that would charge you $500 for this. In fact, if you get ungated in all three, you owe me $500. Is what I'm saying. Okay, I'm kidding. You don't really owe me $500. This is very simple to do. Now, this process, they will send us after we're done with this. They're going to send us an invoice. This is what the invoice is going to look like. Okay, I really want to do a huge shout out and a thank you to Walker for providing me with this invoice. I don't really source from Entertainment Earth ever, and I'm pretty much ungated in everything, so I don't really have to do this process, but I was able to get this from him, and he had recently done this to get ungated in some stuff here. And it looks like he probably got ungated in Funko, okay? I might be wrong about that. I probably should have asked him what he used to use this to get ungated in, but it's not that important. This is what the invoice looks like, though. So it has his customer address on it, okay, his billed to and his shipped to, so it'd be his name and his address. If you remember, that's what they asked for. And then their name and address, okay, what they're ordering. This is all very clear here. And then, you know, the payment and everything that went through. It was all very, very basic, okay? But this is what Amazon's looking for. And my guess is that he used these three to get ungated. He did go a little bit over. He went with 12 of each, not just 10. So he went a little bit over the minimum here, but that's okay. And see here they had multiple items here on one invoice. So I do like to keep my invoices simple when I'm handling getting ungating. So like I would do, you know, 30 items on one invoice. I wouldn't like try to do Lego on one invoice and then Star Wars and Pop and Disney on the same invoice. I probably wouldn't do that. There's not necessarily anything wrong with doing that, but you got to keep in mind a lot of times the people reviewing these may not be native English speakers, so we want to just keep it simple. Now, if they deny you, you may need to edit and modify. Okay, you need to annotate, not modify. I used the wrong word there. You may need to annotate the invoice. So if that's the case, all you want to do is take any sort of photo editing software, and I'll show you guys exactly what they want if they request this. Okay, so if we do have to annotate this receipt or invoice, you know, I keep calling it, if I've called it a receipt, I'm sorry, it's an invoice. So he bought here, let's do this Jane Cobb pin, and this is the pin, okay? So if we need to annotate this, what we need to do is we want to grab the ASIN. I'm using the GIMP here to do my editing. It doesn't matter what you actually use to edit. Whatever you're comfortable with is the right thing. And I like to just put it right next to it. And I did my font too big. And then I also personally like to change the color of it, which, where's my color picker, guys? Okay, I like to just make it red because it stands out. You should probably make it bold. And let me move it, make it real obvious. Grab the wrong thing. Okay, so if they ask you to annotate a receipt, that's all they want, okay? They just want to know what the ASIN is, okay? So you can send that in. I typically don't do that on the first shot and don't recommend doing it on the first shot. And I also, now this particular receipt is redacted because this is a video and I don't want you to see my friend's address, okay? It might be weird, or his credit card info. So when you get the info or the invoice from Entertainment Earth or any distributor that you use, I would recommend not redacting the invoice, okay? It does say that you can do that. I don't do it. Amazon's not going to go after trying to get an account with Entertainment Earth. I'll just tell you that right now. They don't care what you're paying for stuff. Okay, so if you do have to um, do any sort of annotation, this is how you do it. And this is the strategy that I've used for toys, helping people get ungated in toys. I've also recently, not too recently, but about a year ago, had to use this exact strategy to get ungated in Bali bras again. I, for some reason, got restricted in Bali and had to go in and get unrestricted. So this took, a few minutes. I had to find a wholesaler for Bali bras, which is very easy to do, and this worked perfectly. If Entertainment Earth pretty much has all the big brands. If there's any that they're missing that you're looking for, I'm sure somebody can point you in the right direction, or you can always send me a message. Maybe I can share with you another wholesaler that might be able to get you ungated in different brands besides the really good selection that Entertainment Earth has. So guys, okay, guys, the steps to do this are pretty easy, and I'm just going to give a quick rundown at the end. Number one, make sure that you can't get auto-ungated, okay? A lot of times you can get auto-ungated. If you tried a few months ago and it was unsuccessful, try again. If you have a case open from trying to get ungated before, close that old case, then retry again, okay? Once you've determined that you cannot get auto-ungated, you want to make an account with Entertainment Earth. It's fast, it's easy, it's free, okay? Then you want to select 3 different unique items and buy 10 of each for the brand that you are trying to get ungated in. Make sure that those items have active listings on Amazon. Even if they're out of stock, that doesn't matter. If they are crappy listings that are a million rank in toys, it doesn't matter. They just need to have a listing. You need an ASIN, okay? Then you purchase the items from Entertainment Earth. You send the invoice over to Amazon. There you go. They actually will email you this invoice, and this is what you need. So anyway, guys, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this makes you a lot of money, and have a great night, and I will talk to you later. I'll see you in my Q4 group at the end of the year. Bye-bye.